Hello and welcome to our video series about confidential computing. I'm Chris, and today I'm going to give you a short overview of cloud and confidential computing. If you're interested in more technical details, make sure to check out some of our later videos. Let's start by talking about cloud computing because it's one of the biggest areas where confidential computing is used. Understanding the basics and problems of the cloud will help you better understand confidential computing later on. So what is cloud computing? In simple terms, cloud computing is when IT resources like servers, storage, or databases are provided over the internet instead of running them locally. This means you don't have to maintain a physical server at your home or your business. Your cloud provider takes care of that in their data centers. To make it more cost efficient, cloud computing uses virtualization and resource pooling. This means instead of giving each customer their own server, the cloud provider splits the server's resources among several virtual machines. These VMs run independently, and the resources are allocated dynamically depending on how much they need at the moment. There are different cloud computing models. The most common are infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. Infrastructure as a service offers basic IT infrastructure, like virtual machines or storage that you can configure yourself, like for example in Microsoft Azure. Platform as a service provides a platform for developing, testing, and deploying applications. There, you don't manage the infrastructure yourself. The provider manages the infrastructure for you, letting the developers focus on developing the software. Software as a service offers a fully functioning, ready-to-use software without the need to worry about installation or maintenance. A common example for that would be Microsoft 365. Cloud computing offers a few risks and benefits that you need to be aware of. First of all, it offers a reduction in cost and effort, as you don't need to invest in expensive hardware or maintain an IT infrastructure anymore. And also because the cloud provider handles updates and maintenance for you. In addition to that, it increases security and scalability, because cloud providers typically have stronger security measures than the average company, and they can easily provide you with more resources when you need them. Cloud services use APIs to integrate different systems, but if these are insecure, they are good entry points for attacks. In the cloud context, it's also important that you trust your provider, because its employees and administrators have the ability to compromise their data if they want. We also have to keep in mind that the cloud is a shared system, which means that there are multiple virtual machines running on the server that are assigned to different users. Vulnerabilities in the virtualization software could allow one of these users to access another one's data. Meeting data protection regulations like GDPR can also be tricky when the data is processed and stored in a different country. Because of these risks, many organizations keep their most sensitive data on premise. But this is where confidential computing comes into play. It helps to eliminate or at least reduce these risks. Confidential computing is a relatively new concept that aims to protect data while it's being processed. Traditional security measures focus on protecting data at rest when it's stored or in transit when it's sent over a network. But confidential computing protects data while it's being used. For example, when it's being processed in the CPU. We will dive deeper into this in a later video, but essentially this is known as 3D encryption, meaning data is encrypted at all three stages in its life cycle. But how does confidential computing solve the problems we have just discussed? In short, it uses permanent encryption and isolation to keep the data safe even while it's being processed. Since the data is encrypted inside the virtual machine and isolated from other processes, it's protected from compromised APIs, insider threats, and shared technology vulnerabilities. This permanent encryption makes it much harder for unauthorized parties to access the data and also makes meeting data protection regulations easier. So, what are the benefits of confidential computing? Due to confidential computing, we have the possibility to move sensitive workloads to the cloud. Tasks that require high levels of security, like processing intellectual property, can now be safely done in the cloud, which also makes it possible to save some money because companies don't need that on-premise hardware anymore. It also makes it easier for companies to collaborate. Companies can now securely share sensitive data and work together without worrying about security breaches. Because of the permanent encryption, no unauthorized personnel can access the data, which makes it easier to comply with data protection laws. It also increases the overall data security which is something we all should strive for. That was our video about confidential computing and how it enhances cloud security. If you want to learn more about this topic, be sure to check out some of our later videos. Thanks for watching.